Hey, I wanted to drop in and talk to you a little bit about supplemental nutrition technology and what and how to use the CT's Max Rack year round. Now, some of you have been asking me about it as far as a hunting application. I'm going to tell you the story behind Max Racks. When we started working on that and formulating it, I had formulated that specifically for a mineral lick product. And uh, and I'm going to tell you this up front: if you're looking for a mineral lick that has a product that has a lot of salt content, you're not going to be happy with what we're putting out. A lot of the stuff that's out there are over 60% salt, and if you want to give deer high blood pressure, I guess that's a good thing. But we're trying to keep them healthy and trying to grow bigger bucks and bigger racks. So we're running a product that's going to keep you somewhere in that neighborhood of around 27-28% sodium content. We built that thing around calcium and phosphorus, magnesium, selenium, and zinc, which is your main nutrients and minerals that go into the building of racks, and also, interestingly enough, in production of milk in lactating does for your fawns. So the application that we use it for during hunting season is we have three different attractants that we built into the product, and it was really just about getting the deer to find it when we put down the new mineral egg sites quickly and get them on it. But what we found out was that they liked it so well that we're using it as a corn topper. And then after we get them into the area and they're feeding on the corn, a lot of the guys are pulling the corn away from it and strictly using the Max Racks because it doesn't attract the raccoons like a corn pile does so bad. So, little tip there that's worked in some of the areas, but we're putting it down on corn piles, and that's kind of the attracting factor that we're using it for during the hunt season, and it is working very well. But what we recommend is to use it in those applications during the hunting season. And then our philosophy behind deer nutrition, building bigger racks, growing bigger bucks, is if you can keep them healthy year around, then when the early green up starts in the spring of the year, the nutrition that your bucks begin to gather from the new foliage that is growing and the crop that's being planted is able to go directly in towards not only sustaining their normal biological functions and survival, but it can go more into the growth and regrowth of the racks. And so, what we recommend is after your deer season goes out and the rut has calmed down, to go in and you want to put in a mineral lick for about every 50 acres that you have on your property. So go in and take a 20-pound bucket, and the way that we do it is we clear off a site in a high traffic area, somewhere between 3 and 6 foot round in a circle. And what I personally like to do is I take a pickaxe and I spike that clearing that I've made, and then I pour the Max Rax over the top of it so that it'll go down into the holes that I've made through there. And you can make as many as you want. Usually, if I make a 3 foot circle, I go in there and I'll put 8 or 10 holes in it, the depth of the pick end of the pick, and then cover it in that Max Rax, that bucket of Max Rax. Leave it, walk off from it. And that bucket, if you put it down in late December, early January, should hold you on that site until about late February to early March. And by that time in our area, we've started green up. Now, I know what I'm saying is not real appealing to some ears, but it's just a biological fact. When deer are like cattle, in that when the green up starts and you start getting the clovers and all the green foliage, there's a lot of water content in that. And so what it does to your deer, the same thing it does with cattle, is it gives them the scours. And so when they start having that issue, it's just like when we get a stomach flu. You wash out your electrolytes and your nutrients from your system. So they need, at that point in time, they need that mineral going on at first green up. So what I recommend is when you start seeing your lawn green up and start thinking about mowing, go back in there, and it'll vary a little bit depending on what part of the country you're in, but go back in there at that time and refresh your mineral lick with another 20 pounds of CT's MAX RAX. At that point in time, if you'll leave that, say you put that in March, and leave that through the month of March, April, May, and then go back in June and refreshing it with a fresh bucket again. This is going to be a time of high consumption of the mineral product during the year because of two things. One is all of your deer are going to be needing that, and they're going to be craving salt in those summer months. So you've got about as I said, a 27-28% salt content in that product. And also during that time period, your does will have dropped fawns, and they will be lactating, and they need that for milk production. So they're going to crave it. They'll be using it heavily. Also during that time period, your bucks will have started growing their racks back. And if you want to see growth, and listen to me because a lot of people don't think about this, if you want to see growth and benefit out of your mineral and your supplementation program, you need to be putting out quantities of mineral and rack building minerals during the time that they are in velvet, because during the time that they are in velvet is when they are growing and adding size to that rack. So you need to go back in there about that June, July time frame. You need to freshen that up, let it run and set until about September in our area, when your bucks begin to start to calcify. By that time, your fawns are up and they're running good. They're also craving it as they're trying to build bone and grow. So go on and put another bucket of that down in that September time frame. That should hold you into the fall. When you get in the fall and it starts raining, you're gonna start seeing that your deer are gonna begin to come off those mineral sites some. But also, what you're gonna see is that those minerals are gonna leach out of the ground when the heavy rain comes. So what we do is wait until our early muzzle season, which is gonna put you in that early to mid October time frame, and we put down a half a bucket to refresh in that, and then we let that run its course through October into early November when our rut starts, and then we put the other half bucket down at that time on that lick. So if you do that right, 4 or 5 buckets will carry a mineral lick throughout the course of the year, and you'll have plenty of it down during the time period that your bucks are needing it to grow their racks. The fawns are needing it through supplementation as they eat to grow size and bone going into the winter. The does are getting it in such a way that it's helping and aiding in the milk production, and it's going to give you a jump start on those fawns that are coming around will be your bucks later on down the line by boosting them up early on. And then obviously in that September time frame when the calcification occurs, those bucks need that. So 4 to 5 buckets will run a mineral site that is feeding about 50 acres of your property. Okay, and the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because there are so many people who think that they're going to get benefit from a mineral rack building program by putting one bucket down right before deer season. And folks, it just doesn't work that way. So if you want to get maximum growth and you want to get maximum benefit out of the product, that's the program you need to run. I've been asked that by several people recently in regards to what they can do to help with rack growth. And I can tell you this, that this year, having watched the bucks in trail cam more than I've ever had before, in the first year that we've run it on some new farms that we're running on, what I found is we're seeing more 1.5-year-old bucks that have racks that are 6, 8, and even on one of them we've seen a 10-pointer, a young 10-pointer at that 1.5-year-old range group. So we're seeing fewer spikes, and we're seeing more young bucks that are already beginning to develop pointed racks. And so that's a benefit that's showing up early on. Also, let those young bucks walk. We can't stress that enough. It doesn't matter what you feed them. The best thing for rack growth and increase in size is one more year on those young bucks. So if you can do it at all, stop shooting those basket rack 6s and 8s. Let them walk. Give them a good supplemental program that has calcium and phosphorus in a 1-to-1 to 2-to-1 ratio. You need to have zinc, magnesium, and selenium, and you want to keep a product that is under 1/3 of sodium. And read those labels, folks, because if you'll read those labels, it'll tell the tale. Um, and put that good mineral product out there. Let them walk, and you'll start seeing those bucks growing and increasing in size. Y'all have a good evening. I'm out of here.